What's good, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of Land Grant Podcast Network's Power 2 Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jordan. I'm here with my co-host, DJ.
Yes, you are. Hi, hello.
I like the hair.
Oh, thank you. Oh, not you telling me on air. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm getting used to the stripes.
Yeah.
It's very stripy. I don't usually do stripy. I usually do a little bit more blended, but it's kind of cool. I like it.
Okay.
It's cool.
I see it.
You see? Yeah, I'm
Why
Calico
stripes?
Cat a little bit.
Not
but,
Calico. Okay.
You know.
Why stripes?
It was the only brown wig left in the store.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. And I don't wear black hair because it makes me, I look up like Elvira. Like I can't wear like jet black hair, especially not when I haven't had a tan. So girl problems. Anyway, hi.
It looks nice. We're here.
That is how you give a compliment, ladies and gentlemen.
We're podcasting.
We are.
We're together again on a weekend. And this is the last football game. We're not going to really talk about the Super Bowl because
we don't care.
Yeah, but it is important. And also, for those on the YouTube, I'm a Colts fan, and we're never going to make it to a Super Bowl again. Shout out to Ohio State Big Bucks because someone had to make me happy.
And I am a Cowboys fan, so
and a Mavs fan, and
we won our game today. So I don't care what none of y'all are talking about.
Yeah, well, knock on wood. Hope everyone can hear that because I actually do like AD. But the absolute funniest thing in the world would be for you all to trade Luka for pennies and AD misses the rest of the season. Knock on wood that does not happen. I am not wishing that on him. Don't say that I wish that on him. But when you have a non-contact injury, that is the first thought. And that happened like 4 hours ago. There has been no sprained ankle, none of that kind of thing, which makes me think that they're doing multiple tests. Because, you know, when it's just like a rolled ankle, it'd be 15 minutes. Like AD out for the rest of the game, but it's just a rolled ankle. You know, Kawhi, they'd be quick with Kawhi because every time he steps on the floor, he injures something. It's like, nah, it's just a little bone bruise. He'll be back in a week. I haven't seen anything. So
I really just didn't need my bubble to be bursted in that way. I was just trying to.
Gang. My bad.
I was just trying to celebrate.
It was about
small wins.
It's about
the
Nico.
Small wins.
Did you see, bro? Supposedly has extra security.
Who? Luka?
Nico.
Oh, Nico. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah. He has security around his home now. Yeah.
He's an idiot.
But also at the same time, like people need to stop. This is sports.
Please.
I don't mean to be funny. This is sports. Nothing that's going on with the Mavericks is putting any money in our pockets. Our pockets specifically. So like to be putting that man in danger and putting his family, he has kids. Like I'm just never going to be into that. Like I get that it's like crazy to do that, but like you also driving by his house and putting his family in danger is, I would argue, more crazy.
Yeah. I wonder if how much of this stuff is worse because of sports gambling.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that all of the feelings are a little bit intensified because of that.
Yeah, I think that's a part of it. As you all are aware, this is an anti-sports gambling podcast. I don't bring this up often, but I am a trained and educated sociologist, and I will never do research on gambling because it is not an interest of mine. But I will be reading it when some sociologist somewhere, some psychologist somewhere writes about the effect that legalized sports betting is having again on our society, and specifically with the ease. Because not that it was never a thing, but when you had to go to a bookie, when you're a bookie in certain cities, maybe the one that I live in was maybe affiliated with the mob.
Criminals,
yes. And a little bit more shady and violent. I believe that probably kept some people from doing it. But as I've said, I believe on here before, and I say all the time, and I'm sure we all know this, I know people who don't even watch sports. I know people who like, and this is not a big up on us, but I know people who would never listen to this podcast because they would never listen to someone talk an hour and a half about sports. Don't watch a game, can't name nobody who are sports betting, who have texted me talking about, would look at my parlay, I've seen on Instagram and things like that. And so I'm like, Like that's what happens when it's the ease, the access. It's on. There's a million apps. It's on your phone. There's all these deals and things like that. So
I had a classmate. Well, we had a research class, and I think I mentioned on the show that my research topic was conference realignment and the effect it has on athletic performance. But there was one group that did the effects of sports gambling. It was riveting, actually. It was very interesting because there's really not a whole lot of research currently, obviously, about how like e-gambling, I guess, if you will, or the gambling platforms, like how much of an effect that has on it. But it does, like, they basically did show, like, you know, the advertising is directed towards a younger audience and like all this other stuff. And so, you know, the ease of access is a really big thing. You know, the deceptively low buy-in, like start with $5 and you could win 500 sort of thing. So it's like, you know, and when people are desperate or really want to make some money or they feel like they know sports well enough, you know, it is a vicious cycle. I will say though, I'm not really sure. Like, I'm obviously, I know that gambling plays some sort of part of it, but I also think that people really did just love Luka like that much.
Oh yeah,
like when you think about like what has happened, this is literally the first time that an all-star has ever been traded mid-season. Like this is literal sports history. Like there will be a 30 for 30 about this.
I don't know about that, but
there'll be a documentary.
I hope so, but. The reason why I say that is not because you're wrong. It's because they ain't 30 for 30 and ain't been 30 for 30 and like they should.
That's why I said it's going to be a 30 for 30 about this.
Yeah, but they ain't been doing it like they should. Now, when's the last new 30 for 30 you watched? That was good. Everyone has been doing like and the reason and what I mean in particular is like some of the best 30 for 30s are on moments. Like, right, like this would be a moment kind of thing. They're not really doing that anymore. Everyone wants to do the long form, including ESPN. Everybody wants to do a long form documentary, season long, where they're behind the scenes and they follow them and all this other kind of stuff. I can't tell you when the last 30 for 30 came out, but it would be nice if they went back to
they're doing like these series styles ones where like they I like the series style. I like that one. The Serena Williams one was really good.
I just like give me the ones on the moment. Like I don't think I've watched it yet, but like the Catholics versus convicts, like give me the ones on like the moments. But then you can also do quarterback and wide receiver and behind the scenes and all this other kind of stuff too. But like, yeah, no. But my thing was like, I don't think it happened because of sports betting. I'm just wondering if sports betting is amplifying it. Like, I think about like imagine. And this was in the off season, so maybe not. But like, you know, like how many people lost money because they had Mavs going back to the finals, or that, you know what I mean, like something like that.
Yeah, but
and so like I don't know if it's real or not. But sports betting does have like a major kind of emotional effect. So I wonder if any of it increased because people had some money on some things.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's just a matter of like trading a franchise player is an insane thing to do. It's just an insane thing to do. Like, even though it's a good business move, like it is truly whoa. What?
We're back after some technical difficulties. That does not affect the listening audience, but would affect the viewing audience. So we had to recalibrate. Yeah, but you know,
trading a star is insane, is all I was getting at.
I agree.
But we'll see how it pans out, I guess.
I guess so. Getting into the podcast, getting into the news. Bama hires Ryan Grubb as their offensive coordinator.
What a last name.
Yeah. For those of you who do not know, Ryan Grubb was the offensive coordinator for Kalen DeBoer probably forever, but more specifically when he was with Washington. And what did he do with Washington? He turned Michael Penix Jr. into a first-round pick, and they went to the national championship game. He then went to the Seattle Seahawks and got fired. So he's back. Bama's offense was not as good last year as you expect for a Kalen DeBoer offense. There was kind of questions
Right.
was it Kalen DeBoer or was it actually Ryan Grubb? Hard to answer, but the duo is back together. Ryan Grubb is in Alabama. He is the offensive coordinator. He has been reunited with Kalen DeBoer. So we'll see if Bama is going to be good next year or not. In your bi-monthly, biannual nepotism hire, Bill Belichick is going 2 for 2 with hiring his sons. He hired another son. He hired firstly Steve Belichick to be his defensive coordinator. He is now hiring his other son, Brian Belichick, to be his safeties coach. And DJ, I'll give you one guess. One guess. Where do you think he's hiring Brian from?
The Patriots?
Bravo. Because, I'm not going to say I know this for a fact, but I will say it's interesting that as he started adding his sons and certain things to his staff, that the Patriots started to go down. And I'm not even saying it's his son's fault as much as it is when they were really going, he was hiring coaches that other people wanted to hire and they became head coaches and all these other things, all these really good minds. And then at the end, he's having defensive coaches as his offensive coordinator. His sons are half of the defensive staff. I don't know. But
how many sons does this man have?
I didn't know he had more than one, to be honest with you, but clearly he has 2, and they're both going to UNC with him, as well as his 24-year-old girlfriend. So,
the amount of jokes that they were making about that girl. The internet, I was screaming.
By the way, because I Googled it, his son, the defensive coordinator, because I was talking to my wife about this, because as I think I've mentioned before, the overwhelming majority of what she knows about non-Ohio State sports, because she's Columbus born and like you just can't help but know about Ohio State, has to do with, if they're attractive, if they're dating someone that she knows, or drama or whatever, just kind of like she's not interested in sports. So I was telling her, I was like, I'm fairly positive that she's too young for his son. So I Googled it today, and Steve is 37. So she is too young for his son, because a 37-year-old should not be dating a 24-year-old. Personally, I'm not going to get into these politics with y'all who disagree, but a 37-year-old should not be dating a 24-year-old.
That's just creepy as hell.
And so she is too young for his son,
for everything,
much too young for him. And I'm just like, man, you were married, of course, at a certain point in time. You had kids, you hired these kids on your staff, and you are now going to be flaunting your 24-year-old girlfriend in your grown-ass kid's face. I wonder how they feel about the 24-year-old girlfriend.
Or the fact that she's literally a sneeze away from the age of your freaking athletes.
And barely a sneeze. They went to high school together.
Yesterday.
They went to college together. They are classmates.
They are the same generation. I don't have time for that.
Yeah, I had another problem with that too, because the first time I was talking to my wife about this, I had mentioned it because there was rumors that he was going to leave, and she posted a picture like, we're committed to UNC, and it just like clicked in my mind that so much of coaching is like the coach is like a father relationship, and a lot of times the coach's wife, especially the head coach's wife, becomes like this sort
mother
of like
figure.
You know, like you bring kids over to the house, you cook, you do these kind of
cookies,
things, these sort of things, like whatever, right? And that, of course, that is not always the case, but in a lot of instances it is, because especially if your coach is a multimillionaire, the wife doesn't always work and whatever, right? Like, this is not a stereotype of women. This is a stereotype of coaches' wives. It's coaching that kind of happens. My overall thought with that is like, oh, so are you gonna have this 24-year-old filling the coach's wife role?
Also, the coach's wife too is very big with like fundraising and booster relationships too. So there's a lot of like hobnobbing and elbow rubbing and lunch going and things like socialite really behavior that a coach's wife does. Besides obviously raising children, which they don't have. So
You're gonna have this 24-year-old serving as the coach's wife, motherly figure for the 23-year-old players.
If anything, they're gonna be besties.
Okay.
She not baking cookies for them niggas. Anyway, I don't like any of it. I loved all the jokes that were getting all the jokes that were happening during the NFL honors yesterday and on the internet. I guess he wore all of his Super Bowl rings to the show, and he had her wear one ring, and I think it was a 2002 one, and someone was like, "Oh, that must have been for the year she was born in."
That's hilarious.
And
that's good. I like that one.
It's gross. So I feel like people like that deserve to be ridiculed.
Mm-hmm.
You deserve every bit of ridicule if you are with someone who is 40 years your junior.
And 13 years younger than your son.
Like, what? Yeah. Anyways, continuing on. But I mean, this is a DEI hiring that we should all be concerned about. But moving right along from that.
Listen. Oh, hold on. Sorry.
Holding.
I'm trying to figure something out.
Well, anyways, while he's figuring out whatever he's figuring out, in other news, Jimmy Butler is going to the Golden State Warriors, and he got a 2-year, $121 million contract. How he swung that, I am not sure. I would love to talk to his agent, because his agent is working overtime to get those sorts of contracts for a player of his age with his antics. But Jimmy Buckets will now be the newest Slash brother. How do we feel? He doesn't care.
I don't. Actually. I definitely don't. But I was trying to figure something out. Can't figure it out. I did figure out that Bill Belichick's oldest kid is a daughter, and she's 41.
Oh, fabulous.
Brian is the youngest, but if we're just gonna do, 41, 37, 30, he's probably 32, 33. So
maybe
all his kids much older than his girlfriend. That shit is weird as hell. Anyways, don't care about Jimmy. Don't care about the Warriors. Don't really care about basketball right now because I don't know what the hell they got going on in the NBA and basketball.
The WNBA and the NBA just a mess.
Yeah, I don't know. But what I can tell you is that for those of you who are tired of us talking about Ohio State, we're almost there. We're almost there because they are almost finished filling out their staff. This is the thing that happens when you are the
championship team.
Last team. Yeah. Well, I don't even mean just that. Like, you go to the championship, you get your team rated. Like, we were talking about Notre Dame for a while, but they finished their staff earlier. Ohio State, it is rumored, people have said it's happened, it just hasn't been announced, that they have finished their offensive staff. They have hired Brian Hartline as their offensive coordinator and play caller. He was already the offensive coordinator, but he's going to be the sole offensive coordinator and now the play caller. They have promoted Billy Fessler to quarterbacks coach, and they have hired Tyler Bowen from Virginia Tech. He was their offensive coordinator to serve as their offensive line coach. Because it has not been announced, we don't know if it's like a co-OC or if it's just a run game coordinator or whatnot. But Ohio State has filled out its at least it's coaches that count towards the 10 on offense. We will have other times to get into this and how we feel. I think that it is interesting because Billy Fessler, the quarterback coach, Tyler Bowen, the offensive line coach, are both younger than Brian Hartline and have both been offensive coordinators. And Hartline has never been an offensive coordinator. So you can say that there's some ultimately, I think this is, hey, Brian, you got Jeremiah Smith. Here's a promotion. I think your mic's muted. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve it. I'm not saying he won't be good at the job, but this is very much like, please stay. You got Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith said, as long as you're here, I'm here. So here's your promotion. I can hear you now.
Oh, wonderful.
but yeah, but at the same time, it's like you have Ryan Day, so that's fine, and you have these two other people who have been offensive coordinators at other places, so it's not like all just kind of like internal promotions or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then the rumor is, and this is why people, and including myself, think it's taking so long to announce the defensive side. The rumor is that Ryan Day is hiring Joe Cullen to be at least co-DC. I imagine that almost nobody knows who that is because
Nope.
I didn't even really know until recently.
Not
Joe
at all.
Cullen is the defensive line coach for one Kansas City Chief. And I hope this happens for multiple reasons, but I have been like inundated with Joe Cullen things just like recently, which really makes me think it's going to happen. Like one of the podcasts was talking about it. One of the podcasts I listened to was talking about it. And then Urban Meyer on his podcast, which I just started listening to, said he talked to Joe Cullen this week. And that could very much just be friends
chit chat.
talking to friends, but it could also be like, let me tell you about Ryan Day, who's trying to hire you. Timing, you know what I'm saying? And then I listened to another podcast called Football 301 that I listened to, and they had like a joint podcast between some other Yahoo Sports podcasts. And one of the people that was on it was Gerald McCoy, who is a very, very good defensive lineman. And he spent half the podcast talking about Joe Cullen, how he's his favorite coach of all time, and like all these things that he taught him. And so now I'm Joe Cullen pilled. I hope it happens. And it also makes sense of like, if you're going to hire this guy, you can't announce until after the Super Bowl. So that's why none of the announcements have happened yet. So the rumor is that Ohio State is hiring Joe Cullen to at least be DC or co-DC. And I think that would be a steal. But we'll see.
Very interesting. I do also have a piece of news that was not on here. It was officially announced on Friday that athletic director Rick Hart, after 13 years of service at SMU, has served his last year with us. So we will be getting a new athletic director. Of course, after we have just gotten our new president, who used to be the president of UT, and now he will be our president. So a lot of people think that we are, and this is like speculation at this point, but a lot of people in our community think that we will be poaching the athletic director from UT as well. So
that's crazy.
You know, more to come on that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that these guys were just like, hey, we did it. We did what we came here to do. We got SMU into the ACC. It's time to go. Like
now, mind you, the president of our university is like 78. Like he's old, and he had been the president for 35 years. So like he was always on his way out. Like that was never like a question to those of us who work at the university of like, oh my gosh, like he was old, like not old, like, oh my gosh, decrepit, but like he'd been doing this for a long time. And he basically said like the last thing on his to-do list as president was to get SMU in a power conference. So once that happened, he was like, it's cool, I can finally retire. Like he probably would have retired sooner if it wasn't for that. So
yeah, I respect it though. Like that's that last thing that you wanted to do. President AD, they did it. They also got to see and be a part of
the first year,
one of the best seasons in SMU history. And then they got to, hit retirement. And I love that for them.
Thank you so much. Goodbye. Yeah, they were just, but yeah, so that is public information now that athletic director Rick Hart is on his way out the door. So
obviously you've been knew that. So that's the news. That's the news. Into our 2-minute drill, which is the longest 2 minutes in podcasting. NFL awards happened. Let's run through the ones we don't care about first, and hopefully 2 minutes. So then we can spend not
20 minutes
on one that we have opinions on. Assistant Coach of the Year, Ben Johnson, Lions, cool. AP Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jared Verse. I personally love this. I don't know him. I don't know Jared Verse. All I know is that like it's essentially the media that I have seen about him just makes me like him.
Oh, okay.
But I don't really I didn't really follow him, anything like that. I just know he went to Florida State. He transferred to Florida State, helped them have a good year.
Yeah, one of the
got drafted, and I'm a big fan of him. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jaden Daniels. Love that kid.
Period.
He's like big
period.
Daniels. I'm glad that it worked for him. And Brian Kelly's a war criminal. Defensive Player of the Year, Patrick Surtain II. This is very interesting. He is the first defensive corner to win the Defensive Player of the Year since who was it? Is it Jalen Ramsey or is it the guy for? It doesn't matter. It's been like 5, 6
first in a while.
years.
Yeah,
first in a
yeah.
while. Corners don't win it as much as they used to. He's had a dominant year. He is awesome. I do not remember off the top of my head if his dad is a Hall of Famer or not, but he is one of the best juniors. He's technically the second, but like we talk about all the time how like athletes' kids of like good athletes are almost not good. And I don't know if his dad's a Hoffer, but I'm pretty sure he's in the Broncos like Ring of Honor. Like he was a really good player. Like he was a Pro Bowler, All Pro occasionally, and he had a whole bunch of hype and has surpassed it. So shout out to him. AP Offensive Player of the Year, Saquon Barkley.
Duh.
Who else was going to win it?
Duh.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming, everybody else. But
yeah,
please.
Okay. AP Comeback Player of the Year, Joe Burrow. I
don't see how he fits the category.
Okay. So like, I think it may be a memory thing. Did he miss all of last year? I
don't follow Joe Burrow, so I really wouldn't be able to tell you.
I think he missed like 12 games or something like that. I think that's what
I'm assuming, because when I saw
he got injured and missed like the rest of the season.
Because when I saw that he won it, I was just like, am I confused? And then I'm like, I'm pretty sure the kid has won the award before. So now I looked into it, and he's the second player ever to win this award twice. How you win Comeback Player of the Year twice? You've only been playing football for 5 years.
Yeah. His 2023 season ended early due to a wrist injury.
Oh, he missed the final 7 games of the 2023 season. Not only did he return to form this year, it was his best season to date. He led the NFL in several major passing categories, including passing yards and touchdown passes.
Personally, I feel like he shouldn't have fit this category.
I don't think so.
Missing 7 games is not enough for me.
I feel like it's because they didn't have any better people to.
Probably.
But then somebody had said that
the candidates were.
Somebody said that there was another player whose name escapes me. You know, there's 100 people in the NFL. I don't know all these people. But he had like broken like a tibia or something and had come back and was like putting up good numbers for himself as well. And so we were like, why didn't he win? And I'm like, I don't know. Comeback Player of the Year is always a little confusing to me because I don't know what the metrics really are for that. Like, is it just you got injured and came back and played well? Is it you got injured and came back and played your best season? Is it you got injured and came back and did like what is I don't know what the or you had like a personal thing and like what are the metrics?
I think it's all of those depending on the player. So I can tell you right now, Joe Burrow's was injury. Sam Darnold was because he sucked and didn't have a job in a while. Okay, where's the rest? Okay, come on, bro. What is going on? I literally had the list. Okay. Joe Burrow was injury. Sam Darnold was because he sucked and didn't have a job and then played well. J.K. Dobbins was injury. Christian Gonzalez also injury.
I think so, yeah.
I don't know how DeMar Hamlin is still on this list. Wasn't that like 2 years ago?
DeMar Hamlin was
That was 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years?
Yeah.
I feel like that was last season, was it not? Maybe. Honestly, it loses probably.
It loses out to a QB again for Comeback Player of the Year. Again, why is he on it twice? Why is he on it twice?
Yeah, because Joe Burrow won it last year and he won it this year. I'm sorry. Winning it 2 years in a row is crazy.
No. Joe Flacco won it last year.
It says he won 2024 and he won.
This is 2024.
What? This says 2025.
What?
It says he won 2024 and 2025.
No.
Okay, so then the internet is wrong.
I think some people are calling it 24-25 or they're just mixing up years. This is for the 2024 season. He won it in 2021 and 2024.
Okay, keep going.
Yes. This is almost all quarterbacks.
Oh,
Okay.
DeMar Hamlin was nominated twice because he did actually have an actual injury and then came back, and then the cardiac arrest thing, and then came back. So he was nominated.
No. The cardiac arrest was first. That was in 2022.
Right. And then, it says, I'm sorry, I'm reading too fast. Blah, 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 blah. Fourth in voting. He's 2 years removed from the cardiac arrest, which happened in January 2023.
So they're just trying to give him a sympathy award?
And so he was runner-up in 2023, even though he got the most first-place votes. And then it went to Joe Flacco. And then blah, 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 blah. He was named a finalist again.
But why? All right, you know what? Whatever.
It doesn't matter.
Personally, I feel like adding DeMar Hamlin is like when a rapper or a singer, an artist dies, and you give him a Grammy posthumously.
Posthumously, yeah.
Because especially last year, he sucked. Like, I understand the power of what he went through, but he wasn't a good player. He wasn't a good player before that. He really wasn't a good player after that. So he shouldn't have won it. And then giving it to him a second time just because he continued to play. Maybe that sounds like hating. I'm going to move on. But I just thought that was crazy. You're not like, you have an amazing story and you're healthy and you got rich off of it. Because I keep seeing you on my TV. We don't need to give you awards for not being good.
I agree. I think he still should have got it the year that he came back, but
I disagree. He was awful. He sucked.
He died, and then he came back.
He didn't die.
He died.
He did not die.
He died.
That's insane. So, don't put that out there. He did not die.
He basically was dead for like 10 seconds.
I'm pretty sure he was not dead.
He died.
Either way.
Cardiac arrest is death, bro.
No, it's not. It's just a heart attack.
And you die.
You don't. Okay, listen. You know what? It's fine. We don't need to be medical professionals.
I'm not a medical professional. I never claimed to be one.
I have no ill will towards DeMar Hamlin. I just don't think you should win an award when you suck. Speaking of not winning an award, Josh Allen got the here. Damn. Ugh. Fine. Here's your MVP.
I do want to pause. Ugh. I do want to pause. I also don't love that Dan Campbell didn't get Coach of the Year. Don't love that. Stupid. Like, yay, Kevin O'Connell, but like, don't love that Dan Campbell didn't get.
We're talking about the Washington football team. How does? Oh, you said Dan Campbell. I disagree with you. It should have been the Washington football team.
or Dan Quinn. One of the two.
Yeah,
one of the two.
I heard Dan in my brain short.
Yes. Dan Quinn or Dan Campbell were the only correct answers for me.
If your name wasn't Daniel. Daniel.
Like, who is Kevin O'Connell? Like, no shade. I know who he is, obviously, but like,
yeah, come on. Like, for what? For
what? The Vikings. How far did the Vikings even get this season? Like, for what?
They lost first round. I can tell you that. To the Lions.
Dan Quinn took a fucking rookie and went to the NFC Championship. Like,
Talk to him.
Dan Campbell took a team that's never even smelled the Super Bowl before and gave them their first winning season.
It's all right. The Washington football team is up. That's all we know.
Up as hell. Love that for them. But yes, back to Josh Allen and his DEI MVP. That's really all I have to say on it. And here's what's really sending me, because I don't know if you've seen this. I don't watch a lot of the sports table talk TV shows, as you guys know. But I saw a clip, and I don't know who any of these men's names are, and that's unfortunate for me. But I do know one of those names is like Dan Orlovsky or whatever. He was explaining why Josh Allen got MVP, and he was like, oh, well, you know, it's about most valuable to your team. And, you know, it's about the fact that it's who he played against and he's what he was able to do on that team and and that's why he should have it, because he's really valuable to his team. And everybody's sitting at the table looking at him like, bro, come on. That is, to hear people like him and Emmanuel Acho and Stephen A. Smith and all of these mushmouth doofuses say all of this crap that is just crap as to why Josh Allen won the MVP, because there is no explanation.
Do you want to know how I know that this is not true, outside the fact that I just have a brain.
Do share.
If it was about most valuable to your team, Saquon Barkley would have won.
Thank you.
Because
it's still not Josh Allen.
What were the Eagles last year? The team that wanted to fire their coach and fired both coordinators, like literally fired both coordinators, I believe. Brought in Vic Fangio, brought in, I don't know who the hell is calling their offensive plays, but Kellen Moore. Yeah, fired both coordinators, had to go get the two hottest names out there because they were like, come on. If it was value, it still wouldn't have been Josh.
Still not Josh.
I understand that everyone's like, and the funniest thing about this is anytime people, because everyone uses statistics to make their own argument. Any other time, it's who has the best statistics. Whether it should be or shouldn't be, it's who has the best statistics. Now I'm seeing, is it a statistics award? Is it just given to whoever has the best statistics?
Literally, yes.
Unfortunately, it is, because that's what y'all have deemed valuable for the last 15 years. It's why quarterbacks always win it, because they have higher statistics than everyone else. If they have more measurable stats. If it was value, Justin Jefferson would have won it yet last year. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Lamar went crazy. Don't let me say that. But he should have been number 2. If it wasn't Justin Jefferson, if it wasn't Lamar, it should have been Justin Jefferson. I don't even think.
And also, like, when did we start? Go ahead.
I don't even think he made it into the voting. Like, it's literally just like quarterback, MVP, any other good offensive player is offensive player of the year.
Player of the year, yeah. Like, and when did we start using who the players were playing with as justifications as to why they shouldn't get the MVP? Like, there have been plenty of guys who have won MVP and had Hall of Famers on their team at the time.
That's in my opinion, that's the LeBron Jordan effect. Nobody cared who you played with until they had to demean LeBron. And so then it's like, oh, he played with this Hall of Famer and he did this and he did that. And it's like, Jordan played with a lot of Hall of Famers.
The entire Chicago Bulls team is Hall of Famers.
Yeah. And the greatest coach of all time.
Coach of all time.
For me, that's the LeBron effect, because I don't remember that. Like, I don't remember anybody saying that about Peyton Manning. Nobody says it about Tom Brady. Nobody says it about
that other dude.
Nobody says it about either of the quarterbacks that played with Jerry Rice. I'm sorry, I'm losing their names right now, but nobody said it about them. Like, I don't remember people saying that. Like, nobody says that about the Showtime Lakers, like, right? Like, they don't say it about Kobe. If he fucking played with Shaq, like, I think it's as far as the timeline of like when this stuff happens, I think it started with the LeBron Jordan and then it's carried over into other sports.
And I hate that, because to me, I don't want to sit up and listen to somebody say, well, yeah, Lamar just, he had Derrick Henry. So he had Derrick Henry and he still had the most rushing touchdowns out of all the quarterbacks. He still had the most rushing yards. He still had the most passing yards. He still had the least amount of interceptions. What are we talking about? Okay, yes, he had Derrick Henry, but that didn't mean that he put up historical number. Like, what? And then that's the thing. It's like, now all of a sudden we got different definitions of what valuable is. Now all of a sudden it's semantics. Now all of a sudden it's, who's most valuable to his team? Who's most valuable this season? Who's most valuable this, and this? That has never been the case. And y'all are not about to gaslight me this year into acting like that is what this award has been this whole time. This award has never been that damn subjective. It has always been who had the best year statistically.
They had to find a way. And here's the thing. I knew it was going to happen because it happens all the time. This is who is it? Joel Embiid. Is he the one that won the MVP? That broke up Jokic's MVP?
Yeah.
This is Joel Embiid winning. I'm sorry. Everyone gets mad at me for it. I don't care. This is Derrick Rose's MVP. This is Russell's MVP. This is Russ. Because Russ did that triple-double shit for 3 straight years, and they only cared about it for 1. This is James Harden's MVP. This is, I can continue, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is, we're tired of giving it to Bron. We're tired of giving it to Kobe. We're tired of giving it to Jordan. We're tired of giving it to Tom Brady. We're tired of giving it to Patrick Mahomes. We're tired of giving
someone
it to
else.
Jokic. We gotta find someone. This person was close. I don't care what anybody says.
I don't care.
I've argued with Dante about this forever. Derrick Rose didn't deserve that MVP. James Harden sure as hell didn't. LeBron got robbed. So did Jordan. So did Kobe. So did Brady. So did Patrick Mahomes. So did these people. It happens. And everyone knows it happens because it's just voter fatigue. It's why we'll never have a 2-time Heisman again, which shout out to a Buckeye legend. I'm fine with that piece of history. But there have probably been people and will be people who deserve to be Heisman back-to-back. That'll never happen. Voter fatigue is bullshit. And now people just get random awards because, oh, I'm just so tired of voting for this person. If they're the best player 6 years in a row, give it to them.
They're the best player. Oh, well, other people just need to be better. I don't mean to be funny, but like, that's how it goes. If y'all can't keep up, y'all can't keep up. How is that my fault that these people can't keep up? How is that my fault? And yes, in theory, did Josh Allen have a MVP-esque year? Yes, he did. If Lamar Jackson didn't exist, yes, Josh Allen put up a very, very good year. No one's saying he's trash. You keep losing to Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship. But no one's saying that he's trash. No one's saying he's trash. But when you have a quarterback who quite literally is better than you in every statistic available that measures quarterbacks, you are not about to play in my face and say that Josh Allen is more deserving of the MVP than Lamar. Like, you're just not going to play in my face and say that. Again, did he do MVP level numbers? Yes, he did. No one's taking that away from him. Lamar just happened to be better. It's the same thing with Travis Hunter and what's that child's name? Ashton Genty. Sucks that they were in the same class for the Heisman. Sucks. One of them had to lose, but both of them had every right to win that award. They both did amazing things. But when you looked at it at the end of the day, Travis Hunter edged him out just a little bit because he played both sides of the ball and Ashton Genty didn't. It is what it is. But to say that like these players are just neck and neck and it was, oh, you could have picked either one. No.
I just pulled this up because I wanted to see it. And looking at the LeBron James Harden MVP just pissed me off again.
Now, why are we?
Because I was looking. I started looking at the Jokic one, and then it just like there's a button that just keeps letting you go backwards. So then I came to that one, and I like that. Yeah. But yeah, it's just like, the thing is, it's like, what was it? I think, Lamar was unanimous last year, or was that the one before that? Or was he almost unanimous?
I don't know. I really don't know.
He was unanimous at one point. I think it was last year. I don't remember. Either way, Lamar won the award last year.
He was unanimous in 2019, 1 vote shy in 2023.
Last year. Because there's always a hater somewhere.
Every day.
He should have been unanimous.
Because whoever gave him that 4th place vote, jail.
Tripping. Ichiro Suzuki, I think is his name. He is one of the greatest baseball players of all time. He was 1 vote shy also of being unanimous into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And then the voter hit it because they typically tell you like you can like, this is who I voted for after. He wouldn't release his vote. He wouldn't say it.
Oh, the NFL released the AP voters votes without even telling them. So everybody knows who did the 4th place vote. His name is like Jim something or another. But they released everybody's votes. Yeah,
I think certain things, I don't know. NBA, baseball's weird. Lamar Jackson was one. Let's just say he was unanimous because he was. Person was a hater. Lamar was unanimous last year and had a better year this year than he did last year. And I always love, because people try to do this because they always do. They try to put up the graphics, and Lamar looks better in every graphic.
He
had a better year.
He had a better year. Graphic. He had a better year, period. The end. And this is the thing that makes all of this justification even more laughable to me, is that the stats don't lie. The numbers are not lying. The numbers aren't lying. His passer rating is higher. His passing yardage is higher. His rushing TDs are higher. His passing percentage is higher. Everything is higher. Everything is higher. So what is the real, the numbers are even telling you that is not Josh Allen. I don't give a damn about the rest of your explanations and your feelings and your thoughts. The numbers are telling you that it's not Josh Allen. The numbers. But what's ghetto is, obviously we're talking about 2 people who aren't even in the Super Bowl. So.
Yep. And I will, because we've went long. I won't go long on this.
Yeah.
I just want to say, one, shout out to Kent State legend. I should have wore a Kent State hat. Kent State
Yeah, that would have been less
legend.
embarrassing.
Shut up. Antonio Gates for making it into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yes. Shout out to the Hall of Famers.
I like Travis Kelce. I do. He's from Cleveland. I'm not from Cleveland, but he's from Ohio.
Travis Kelce is. Oh, we talked about this. Yes.
I like him, but I'm sorry, Travis. You can't be the greatest tight end of all time when Antonio Gates exists. I get it. Because honestly, Gronk was never the greatest tight end of all time to me personally.
He was just,
I don't care what anybody ever says. I don't care. I will refuse it forever. And
he was just charismatic.
Yeah. Travis, this is no disrespect. You're up there. One of the greats, legend, whatever. Fine. But Antonio Gates, love that. Secondly,
this is his second ballot.
Do not understand what Reggie Wayne has to do to get into the Hall of Fame. Reggie Wayne is one of the best wide receivers of all time. He still, to this day, holds a significant number of postseason records. He has the stats. He has the All Pros. He has the Pro Bowls. He has all these things. He's been a finalist like 4 years in a row. He hasn't got in, and they keep putting wide receivers in over him. And that, to me, is insane. This is no disrespect to Sterling Sharp, because I'm happy about him as well.
Yeah.
But and I understand that he got in a different category, right? Because he got in as a senior member, 25 years plus removed. But when you put in a wide receiver with worse stats, it looks bad. Like, I understand the discrepancy. I understand the difference. But when you put in this guy who played 7 years and had worse stats, but you don't put in Reggie Wayne for 4 straight. And I get it. Some of those years he didn't get in because the NFL fucking is in love with quarterbacks. And so they put in quarterbacks and then the numbers, whatever. I personally still think that Reggie should have got in over Megatron. And it's only because I wasn't sure if Megatron was going to be first ballot because he didn't play long enough. I don't really have a problem with Megatron being first ballot personally because he's amazing. But Reggie should have gotten in that class or the class before. I think it's insane that we keep putting in wide receivers before Reggie Wayne. And at a certain point, I don't know when, but at a certain point, he's going to fall off the ballot. And the problem that's going to keep happening with him in particular, especially because they changed the rules, a bunch of quarterbacks are going to be eligible here soon as well. And so, because I'm surprised that Eli didn't get in. Bless, because he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He's absolutely not. Sorry,
because he was a quarterback. So it's just like, what the fuck do we got to do to get Reggie Wayne into the freaking Hall of Fame?
Start the campaign.
Now, the positive thing on Sterling Sharp, I just appreciate all of the content in my old age as I start to become a sensitive old man. 22-year-old Jordan wouldn't have cared, but 30-year-old Jordan is like, man, that's a touching moment between brothers. All of the clips
so beautiful.
And the hugs and the conversations and all of this stuff between Shannon Sharp and Sterling Sharp. I'm glad that they got that moment. I'm glad that they were the first brothers to be into the Hall. Again, shout out that Eli didn't get in. They got that moment to themselves because the Mannings could have been the first brothers. I love that happened. I love all the moments. I love their story.
I love it too.
I do appreciate, as a brother, I appreciate Shannon's reverence of his older brother. I also understand as essentially the eldest brother. I also understand Sterling's none of this shit matters. I'm more proud of you. When my little brother graduates from college, I got 7 degrees. I'm not going, you know what I mean? But I just thought it was really cool. I thought that was a great moment. I'm glad that they got to have that. And I'm also glad that they were the first brothers because Eli Manning is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's borderline even a Hall of Famer. He's only a Hall of Famer because he's a quarterback. I would be fine if he never gets in, but the Manning trust is not going to let that happen.
The Manning family will, all of them, including Arch, will be in the Hall of Fame.
Arch is not going to be that good. I don't care what anybody says.
He's not, but he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
He's going to be in the Louisiana State Hall of Fame because they bullied his way into that one because he wasn't that good of a high school player. I've seen his stats. Anyways, I I'm just glad that the NFL showed some stones and didn't put him in first ballot, because in my opinion, first ballot, especially in the NFL, because the NBA Hall of Fame is trash. Like they do it so poorly. First ballot Hall of Famer is the highest honor you can have. It is for the top of the top. First ballot Hall of Famer is for Tom Brady. It's for Peyton Manning. It's for LeBron, MJ, Kobe. It is that level.
People who we will never see again.
Absolute top of the top. James Harden is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's probably a Hall of Famer. He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, right? Someone in this Patrick Mahomes, 100%. Lamar, Josh Allen, like some in this year's group of quarterbacks is not going to be first ballot. It's not going to be Patrick, and it's not going to be Lamar. But like Josh and some of these other people, if their careers don't continue to shape, just like Big Ben, probably shouldn't be first ballot. He should be in the Hall. I think a lot of people forget his career.
He deserves a bust. But he deserves a bust. But
he shouldn't be first ballot, because when you look at Big Ben and you look at Tom Brady and they play together, there's a fucking difference. Like that's the difference. You say who is better, Big Ben or Peyton Manning? Big Ben, Tom Brady. Like if when you do these ranks, when you look at these players and you watch them play, there's a step below, then that step is not you shouldn't be first ballot. Eli Manning was never the best player in the NFL ever, was never the best quarterback in the NFL ever. His entire resume is he beat Tom Brady twice. And you know what that says to me? Tom Brady's one of the GOATs, because you are such a good player that you are getting someone else into the Hall of Fame.
Is measured against that.
I believe Peyton Manning is better than Tom Brady, but I can never make that argument, because Tom Brady was so good. His success is going to put Eli Manning in the Hall of Fame. That is fucking nuts. Like that is insane. Anytime you say, why is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer, the first or second thing that comes out of anybody's mouth, he beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl twice. That's his career highlight?
Yep. Right. Ciao. Anyways, I was obsessed with the Sterling and Shannon Sharp moment. I love it. I watch Club Shay Shay very often. And he talks about his brother all the time and that relationship and how he looked up to him and all these other things. And I just love it. I'm obsessed with it. I didn't realize that Sterling wasn't in the Hall of Fame yet. So when I saw his name, I was like, we just now? Okay.
It's because he only played 7 years.
Which is fair, so I get it.
He was one of the best, but
such a short time.
Yeah.
Honestly, but I loved that.
Like eventually they had to put him in there because they put Megatron in there. And I get Megatron was better. Megatron is legitimately one of one. But
Yeah. So anyway, shout out to everybody who was honored at the NFL honors. The Super Bowl is upon us. And like me and Jordan said, we're really not going to discuss it too much because, again, my stance is I am rooting for Kendrick Lamar and I hope both teams lose. So, I just don't have a particular desire to watch any of them hold up the Lombardi trophy. So I won't. I will watch the first half and the halftime show. And if the football is good, I will watch the whole thing.
You said if the football is good.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a good game.
If the football's good, I'm going to be into it. But if it ends up ending on like a BS call or something like that, like if it's not like pure one team just played better than the other team, I'm not going to be in the mood.
I feel that. I hear you for sure. I think we already did our predictions, maybe. Oh yeah, we did, because this episode is going to come out after. So that's it.
Yeah.
This is just a reminder that by the time you listen to this, the Super Bowl happened, and hopefully you didn't lose a lot of money. Hopefully you didn't bet, but maybe you did. You probably did. I know a lot of people.
Hopefully you had lots and lots of buffalo wings.
Oof, I'm making buffalo wings.
I'm frying wings. But I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you had a good time, and I hope that you made it to work and you're not hungover and you're listening to us and you are being productive.
That part. Power sweep.
Let's sweep for sure.
This week is the top 5-ish games of the year. It turned into a top 8, a combined top 8, because we had multiple of the same.
4 of the same.
Yeah. And kind of do some of the rest in there. I tried to do what other people do, like when they kind of combine lists, is I tried to like combine them, and like this was both high for both of us. So this is 1, this was high for both of us, this was 2. So all the games in the beginning are the combined games, and then we'll move on. So the number 1 game compared.
Wait, you want to start at number 1, or we don't? We want to start from.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. You
got to build up the suspense, people. The number 8 game.
This is number 8. This was initially an honorable mention. This is on here, 1, because the game was good, but 2, just because it's petty and we called
implications. Yes,
like a month before.
Yes.
I can't hear that. I haven't even seen this clip yet because I'm not caught up with It's Always Sunny. I don't know if you watch it. I don't think it's a show you would watch. I don't think you at all.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you'd hate it. You would hate it.
He was like, it's not for you. You're not the audience.
So this is just funny because I've seen both shows. They did a crossover with It's Always Sunny and Abbott Elementary. And my first thought was like, oh God, people who like Abbott Elementary are gonna go watch It's Always Sunny, and they're not gonna know what they put themselves in for. Literally, the first episode is named "The Gang Gets Racist."
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, you don't really like. You're not really like you don't really like. You don't find humor and like racist and like sexist jokes and things like that.
Oh yeah, no.
Like it's just, and like
unless it's like the Boondocks.
Yeah, I think they do one of the best jobs at it, where it's very much like the lens is put on the cast. Like I think like if you're gonna do like racist and sexist and homophobic jokes and things like that, it has to be from the lens of making fun of the person giving the joke.
That is that, yeah.
The community. And that like, that show does a really good job of like, these are degenerate drinkers, they're fucking idiotic, they're like stupid, like you know what I mean? Like, we don't think black people or we don't think gay people, like this is some of the worst humans you've ever met, and this is their opinion. Like they do a really good job of kind of like towing that line, which is why it's been on for like 20 years. Like it's like 20 seasons. It's insane. I was watching it in college and didn't know that it was going to last that long, but it doesn't matter. You would not like it. But I just thought,
thank you.
I just thought of you as well, because like I could see you being one of the ones like, man, this Abbott Elementary, this little 2-part was good, let me check out that show. And then you see The Gang Gets Racist, and you're like, oh, what the hell? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So number 8.
Number 8, honorable mention, because we called this like 4 weeks in advance that Miami was going to go. We were wrong that they were going to go undefeated. We didn't see Georgia Tech happening. Shout out to Georgia Tech. But we did call that they were going to put up, they were going to get a lot of people happy. And then the last game of the year, they were going to lose to Syracuse. And it happened. And it was also a good game. Syracuse wins that game 42-38. And that was just one of the best. Because every once in a while, you do this podcast and you talk all the time. You have all these conversations about sports and you get things wrong and stuff. And it's just like, man, maybe that's crazy. I thought this was going to happen and that didn't happen and all these other kind of things. And then you just call something perfectly from a distance. You just, you Babe Ruth it, you call your shot, and it's just beautiful. So
I would like to say that I'm right a lot of the time on this podcast. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm right often. Okay, so number 7 is I'm struggling to remember if I actually watched this game or not.
I don't know, but I did. This was one of the best iterations of the Backyard Brawl. It was so fun. Eli Holston made a name for himself. I think a lot of people there's a lot of conversation about who's going to be in next year's quarterback draft.
Mm-hmm.
I think this kid's going to go very high. I'm staking my claim. I do not pretend to be a quarterback whisperer, quarterback developer, but I will say that when it comes to quarterbacks, because I watch a lot of football, I end up being right a lot because I don't have any like my job's not on the line. Like it's a lot easier to be objective when you're just like a fan.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't know this kid. This kid is good. I'm sorry, he's good. If he has another year like he had, I think he could be in contention for the number 1 pick. But he's really good.
Good times.
It was just a great game. I'm sorry that West Virginia lost, but Eli hosted, and this was like early in the season. It was like week 1 or 2, and it was just like, oh, this kid might be good. And the funniest part about it is he was at Alabama, and they ran him away for Jalen Milroe, and he is so much better than Jalen Milroe. But it doesn't matter. Shout out to Pitt. Shout out to West Virginia. That was a great game. And sorry, last thing. Because my stance, these types of rivalries need to happen every year.
Yes.
Pitt, West Virginia, bring back the background brawl. We do it in other leagues. We have South Carolina, Clemson. We have Iowa State. We have Kansas State. Oh, they're in the same league. We have Georgia. We have all these things. There's no reason that Oklahoma State shouldn't happen. There's no reason that the backyard brawl shouldn't happen. I don't care about conference affiliation. I don't care about any of that shit. You are an hour and 15 minutes away. When you go to West Virginia, you fly into the Pittsburgh airport and you drive south. And the 2 games have been amazing the last 2 years. Just put pen to fucking paper. We need this game every year.
Period. Number 6 is the ACC championship game between Clemson and SMU. You can guess who picked that one. But the reason why I said it was one of the best games of the year was actually because of the actual football. It was a very, very huge comeback on SMU's part to come back down 21 and damn near win that game. We lost by a field goal.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a championship game. Stakes are high. That sort of vibe. I think it was the best way that we could have lost the championship game. I obviously would have wanted to win it, but I would have hated to have like a blowout or, it be like a situation where we didn't look like we were up to par, but we were. So, and I think that's ultimately what got us our bid into the playoffs in the first place was the fact that, yes, we did lose, but we didn't get our butts kicked. Like we fought. We a field goal. Like, come on. So yeah, that's number 6. And then number 5 is also mine. I just really enjoyed this game. It was more the vibes than the actual game because the score obviously is 37-21. But Kansas, Colorado, I had such a fun time watching that game, and it was actually more because of Devin Neal. Like,
hooping.
That's his name, right?
That's the game he had over 200 yards rushing, right?
Yes, 207 yards. I have it pulled up. 207 yards, 3 touchdowns, caught 4 passes for 80 yards, and another score.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I should have had that one on my list, but
the kid is insane.
If I was doing a list of longer than 5, that would have made it. So
yeah, that was like one of my favorite games that I witnessed because I love watching games where I find new players, where I see guys who I'm like, wow, I haven't been paying attention to you. Now I'm going to look up your stats. Now I'm going to pay attention to you. Now I'm going to watch more games for this person. So I think he has another year of eligibility.
I think he did come back.
I think.
I can't remember.
But I will definitely be looking out for him next season. He had himself a freaking evening. So
yeah, facts. Number 4, Ohio State, Oregon. This was my number 1.
Of course.
As I said, I genuinely still think that this was the best game of the year.
It was great.
And it's not just the Ohio State part. I think I would hear Texas, Arizona State, because one of the things that I was going to say is the stakes. And obviously the stakes of a playoff game are higher than the stakes of a regular season game. So whatever. But this game had everything. It had defense. It had a lot of offense. It had an ejection, interceptions, questionable calls, just 2 teams, a crazy ending. Anything that you could want in a game happened in this game. And it was a 1-2 game. It was just huge. It was fun. It was one of my – and Ohio State lost, so I almost never have a loss at Ohio State where it's man, this is just one of the best games of the year. But it was legitimately one of the best games of the year, one of the best games that I've seen. It absolutely falls into the basket of an instant classic. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that amazing. For sure. I actually think Devin Neal is going to the draft. Good for him. I think. I don't know. I just at this point I assume everyone has eligibility left because of COVID. Yeah. He technically I think was a senior last year. That makes sense. So
I'm sorry. I'm like reading and I'm like trying to read and do the things. But yeah, I think he's going to the draft.
Oh well.
Anyway, I think he's going to the draft. The point is, he was great. Number 3, and this is now we're getting into the games that we both chose. So both of us chose these games, and I actually think we both chose them in this order. Yeah, we both put them in this order on our list.
Yeah.
So the third game is the Georgia Tech game, the infamous 8 overtime game, setting a new record in college football for number of overtimes. And I just loved that Georgia Tech gave Georgia a run for their money. Like,
yeah,
I was obsessed. The entire time.
Honestly, should have won.
But
as I like, there are very few. You know, like people say all the time, there are not many truths in life, right? Like,
yeah,
there are not many truths. One of the things that is true, and this is, now we just got in our little philosophical bag. One of the things that sociology. Is true about life is if you give the better team too many chances, they will win that game. Like, and Georgia Tech just couldn't close it, and they just gave chance after chance. And every time that they looked like they had it, they just kept giving Georgia a chance. And then, of course, eventually the talent wins out. Eventually, if you're not aggressive, if you don't find a way to close the door, especially if it gets into overtime, you never want these games to get into overtime. The talent almost always wins out. But that was an amazing game. It was
good times.
It was super fun, and watching. I can't think of the name of the quarterback right now, but it's like he's like a 7-year guy. It's like 5 or 6 years.
The Georgia Tech quarterback.
Yeah, and just watching him be like, all right, I've been trying to throw for 5 years. I can't throw a football at the college level, so I'm just gonna turn my body into a Haynes King. That's his name. Haynes King. Watching that's just off the dome. Watching Haynes King just turn himself into a battering ram and just run through Georgia was just so fun. So fun. Also,
battering ram is crazy.
I think the our top 4, I think, are certified instant classics.
Certified. Number 2.
Make an argument for other ones. Go ahead.
I was just saying number 2, a game that I think neither one of us saw it coming, especially because it happened fairly early in the season too. It was just kind of like, oh shit, like what is going on? And this is what let me know personally that Bama was not who they said they were, and that was Vandy versus Bama, 40-35. Absolute insane work.
Speaking of one of those, if you don't close it out, this is how I knew that Bama, like you said, wasn't who we thought they were, because every time it looked like, oh man, Bama came back.
Here we go.
Good job, Vandy. You fought hard.
You tried.
Vandy answered. Every time, if I remember correctly, if I remember how the game went, Bama gets the lead at a certain point.
Yeah.
And Vandy immediately comes back down and scores.
It was like back to back. It was like back and forth. It was literally back. It was like you almost for a second it almost like didn't compute that it was Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Like
that was also the Ryan Williams breakout game, because he had 2 that was, I think, the one where he like caught it and spun in the air and broke 3 tackles, like 80-yard touchdown. He had a bunch of like crazy plays. Like he single-handedly was bringing Bama back, and that was pretty early in the season. So that was the Ryan Williams breakout game. He's also a stud. So yeah, that was good.
We love to see it, but yeah, Vandy came out the gate and scored a touchdown, and then they got an interception touchdown, and then Bama finally got a touchdown. Like, yeah, Bama had gotten a lead I
think they got the lead in like the 3rd or 4th quarter, and I was like, all right, yeah, they
actually no. Vandy was leading the entire time.
That's what it was. It looked like they got close. They got within like 5, and then every single time Vandy just kept scoring. It was just like, is Vandy really gonna do this?
Is Vandy doing it like that? Like, what is going on? Like,
crazy.
Yeah.
And then our number 1 game, probably, I think most
should
people
not be a surprise.
Texas, Arizona State.
Best football I've watched all year.
Shout out to Cam Scatterwood, man. Dude was literally like throwing up on the sideline. He looked. I just remember watching, and I'm like, something's wrong with him. Like, why is he so like first quarter? Why is he so tired?
He
He's
was
getting
not well.
oxygen. He's like,
He
I
was
think
not
like he
well.
literally had a flu game. I don't know I don't know what it was. He said he had something, but he definitely looked dehydrated. Like he literally would coming on, and I still contend they would have won if he could have played some of those other snaps, because there was times where he would run the ball once and then go sit out because
he
was
wasn't
literally
well.
physically exhausted. It was
Yeah.
literally just mental toughness. And he just decided in the third quarter, he's like, yeah,
we're gonna win this game today. He said,
Yeah.
we are not losing this game. It was like Angel Reese when they played the Fever for the first time and she helped somebody up off the ground. I can't remember. She said, we're not losing this game. Like, that was what it was given. He was like on the sidelines, like, put me in, coach. We are not losing this game.
Unfortunately, they did lose, but
they did. I did. Yeah.
I mean, it took a fourth
Two
and
overtimes.
long and second overtime, fourth and long. And honestly, I won't get on it. I won't get on my. I'll save it for the season because I know it's going to happen again. But you just don't. You don't need to send an all-out blitz on fourth and long.
On the fourth down, yeah.
You don't You don't need to do engage 8, but you don't need to send an all-out man blitz. If you're gonna blitz, zone blitz. You don't just whatever. Great game.
Look, choices.
Season.
Great time. Great time.
And I mean, also you got to give shout outs to Quinn Ewers for bouncing back from his mistake, because his interception almost lost in the game.
Yeah,
and he came back and he fought. He made the game winning play, like in double overtime, fourth and long, walk off touchdown. So
well, they won off an interception. The last play of the game was an interception.
Oh yeah, Arizona State did get the ball after that.
Yeah.
For whatever, it felt like it was a walk-off touchdown. But I guess Arizona State did get to play.
But they got the ball back, and then it was But yeah, so those are our top games of the season. I don't think we missed any, because I was thinking about it too. I'm like, it's really been like hundreds of games, but I'm like, I don't really think we missed any. I think we got the main ones.
Yeah, if we went to 10, there's probably a couple that we could add, but like we could add Bama Georgia on there.
Bama Georgia,
that game was crazy. If we were doing like a top 10, there's a couple other ones. If you ask certain people, they would say Notre Dame, Penn State. I don't think that was an instant classic. I know we love the way that game ended, but you gotta watch the first 3 quarters.
Exactly.
When you watch the whole game, like
these are games that like I would go back 100% and watch again. Like that is kind of how I looked at it. Was like, which game was so entertaining that even though I know the outcome, I would watch it again.
If we kept expanding the list, there'd be like 7 Miami games on here, because Miami Cal should be on there. That was the 39-38 game.
That was great. That was one where I was up at like 2 a.m. watching it, wasn't it? Was that the one?
And I went to sleep because they were up like 18 or something.
Yes, and I was like, bro,
woke up and I lost. Yeah, I was
yes.
I was knocked. Yeah. All right, so we have a bit of breaking news that we won't touch on because I don't know why it happened and we're not a basketball podcast. But the Lakers just rescinded the trade of Dalton Connect for Mark Williams because the Hornets didn't hold up the end of the deal. So that happened while we were on the podcast. Just figured I'd mention it. But as we wrap up this show, as we go through our 2-minute warning, do you want to go first or should I go first?
I'll go ahead and go first because I want to hear your opinion. So listen, y'all, for the next 8 weeks, as y'all know, we're about 4 weeks in now. I just will not stop talking about unrivaled basketball because it's just that good. I just watched the game earlier before we got on the podcast. The Lunar Owls Basketball Club is the only basketball club left that is undefeated. They have won 8 straight games. They just won their game today when they were down, and they still came back and won. But the refs must think that people go to Unrivaled games to watch them blow their whistle. So I don't know what that's about. But either way, Unrivaled, the 1-on-1 tournament is coming up, and it is next week. And basically the way that they did it was they had the fans, those of us, they split the players that were eligible into different pods based on their skills and all these different things. 36 players are in Unrivaled. Only 30 players are playing in the one-on-one tournament. They had to opt in. Angel Reese is not playing in the one-on-one tournament. So just in case y'all were wondering, she's not even in it, fam. She's not even in it. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to pull up the bracket and I can't. But basically, they were split into 4 different pods, and then us as the fans were able to vote based on we were able to vote on their seeding 1 through 8 in each pod. So we've got some pretty fun matchups coming up. But just for the sake of time, I wanted to just say I personally believe that the person who will win this entire thing is actually your fave, Miss Tiffany Tip Hayes. I think she's going to win the whole thing. Personally, I think she's most versatile, and I think that she has the most skills and experience to actually win the thing. So my money at the moment is on Tip. And I was going to ask you if you had any thoughts or predictions on who's going to win the one-on-one tournament. If I could find the freaking bracket.
I like Tip. I think you may have convinced me. My answer was going to be Dejanay Carrington because she has a bag, but she probably has the best defense or some of the best, especially one-on-one defense. So I think she's going to be hard to beat. Even she does have a crazy bag, but even if her bag is not as big as others, is there another player that has as deep a bag and is as good as a one-on-one defender?
The only thing about Dejanay Carrington that worries me, and this is just because I watched her play back-to-back games tonight and yesterday, her shooting around the rim is not good. She has not been shooting well around the rim. She's been getting some threes here and there, but when she gets in the paint and she does a finger roll or she does a short range jumper, not even a mid range jumper, the girl can't buy a bucket right now. So that's the only thing that worries me.
And that's why I say I think you may have convinced me, because Tip also has a bag, but she's also a pretty solid defender. So yeah. If either of them win, I'd be happy. So
good times. Honorable mention, I will say, if she has only played one game because she's been injured the entire season, but the one game that she did play, she freaking went off. So honorable mention, I will say, Jackie Young. Everybody should be afraid of Jackie Young. Everyone should be scared of Jackie Young. Everyone should be scared of Tip. And everyone, in my opinion, should also be scared of Ryan Howard. Actually, truly, anybody who has played 3-on-3 on the international level or in the Olympics should be.
Ryan Howard is going to be
scary.
That's a walking bucket. That's a good one.
Ryan Howard is a bucket. The only thing about Ryan Howard is her defense. Sometimes I'm just always yeah. So that's I'm
especially a faster player could blow by her.
Exactly. She doesn't have the bet, but the thing about it is what she lacks in defense, she makes up for in scoring ability. So, those are my top 3 though. I would say Jackie Young, Tip, or Ryan Howard. I think one of them is walking away with the $200K.
And I'd be happy with all of them because I don't know. You said Jackie Young.
Yes.
I'm still back on the Dejanay Carrington. But
okay, so yours is Tip, Dejanay Carrington,
and
Ryan Howard.
Who is
good times.
Who is a scorer.
I do believe the next time we talk, we will have a winner because the entire tournament takes place between the 10th and the 14th. So the next time we talk, we will know who won. But yeah, just if you're not watching Unrivaled all the way through, but you're curious about certain matchups between WNBA players and all of that, I would highly suggest watching Unrivaled this week, so we can see the one-on-one tournament. It'll be good times. And also, whoever wins, they win the money for themselves, but they also win money for their entire team. So the whole team that they're on. Yes, the whole team that they're on, they all get $10,000 each. And then somebody else wins money too. Oh, and then the runner-up player wins money as well. So
everybody getting money.
Everybody gets cash. The pool of cash is $250K. 200 of it goes to the winner. 30 or something like that of it, or whatever. It gets split up amongst winning team and then the person who was the second place. Yeah.
Well, either way, I just also think it's hilarious that of course men don't listen, so it took women to save basketball because we've been asking for a one-on-one style tournament from the NBA forever, but they're too scared and won't do it, and
they're too busy reinventing the All-Star Weekend. There's a draft, they have coaches. I don't know what the hell is going on.
I
I don't know what the hell is going on. Please, nobody ask me to explain men's All-Star Weekend this year. I don't know what's going on. And then they asked Caitlin Clark to be in the 3-point contest because remember they had that bullshit last year with Sabrina Ionescu. And Sabrina Ionescu said on live television, I hope we never have to do this again. And then they still invited Caitlin Clark to come do the 3-on-3, not 3-on-3, the 3-point contest. And she said, I will not be doing any 3-point contest before I do the WNBA one.
Look. Talk about it.
Because what? If y'all's 3-point contest is not interesting enough for the people y'all got, I don't know what y'all want us to do about that.
Save it. And as we wrap up the show, back to the Super Bowl. Kendrick Lamar's doing the halftime show. I think this is amazing. I don't do this. I like Kendrick being able to do this, especially as the type of rapper that he is. Nature is so iconic. It speaks to a level of like people saying like rap is unmarketable and all this other kind of stuff, but also watching him on the Super Bowl stage stomp on Drake's grave. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be magnificent.
I'm so excited.
I'm gonna love every single second of it. I know they don't get a lot of time, so they
15 minutes
do really, really short kind of things.
Yeah,
but 2 or 3 songs that you hope he plays, and you can't say Not Like Us because he's absolutely playing that.
I actually have a couple theories.
Okay.
Number one,
and maybe this brings into your theory, but if it's not, anyone you want him to bring out with him.
Oh, okay. Well, it's already been announced the person who I wanted him to bring with him, which was SZA. So I'm really excited about that. I'm not really fussed about anybody else. I just wanted SZA. So at that point, whoever else he wants to bring out, like, love that for him. But my 3 theories with this show is either number one, he's not going to do Not Like Us at all, just to show that he actually has other hits other than that, because people keep trying to play in his face and act like this is his first hit, which is crazy. Number 2, he's going to do it where it's like he does a song and then he does Not Like Us and then he does a song and then he does Not Like Us again. That would be hilarious and the best type of trolling that we've ever seen. Or number 3, he's just going to play the instrumental and let the crowd do it. So those are my 3 theories. But as far as songs that I want to hear from him, honestly, I love Kendrick. Like, I love him. Like, I won't be disappointed with anything. Like, I love it. I, of course, want to hear, like, this is a collab, so I would love to hear at least one of them, whether it's All the Stars, Luther, or 30 for 30. I don't care which one they do. And then I love
thinking they're cuter than you.
I would love a throwback. Like, I would love a loyalty, or a little something like that, like a nice little throwback. I hope he does some songs from GNX. Like, I would hope he does do Mustard, Turn the TV Off, that whole vibe. But I'm gonna be excited. I'm gonna be living because I liked what he did when he was a guest on somebody's show, because he's done the Super Bowl before.
Dr. J.
Yes, I loved what he did then. So I'm excited to see what he'll do by himself.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll rap or anything, but I just hope he brings out Black Hippie. Like, I just need that. Need it. And I can't say that I hope, but I just have a feeling he's gonna do Money Trees. I don't know that he can do Pull Up just because of the nature of the Super Bowl, or whatever the hell the actual name of that song is. Pour Up is the name in Prince.
Drank, sit down, drank that one.
Yeah,
swimming pools.
Swimming pool, thank you.
Yeah.
It's Black History Month, so I'm hoping we get something off of the Pimp a Butterfly, even if it's just like kind of like a quick kind of
little insert. Yeah.
I don't know how much he performs that. I mean, he could just he could do all of GNX. GNX is the perfect album.
He could. I'm so happy with it. I don't care. They keep saying like, oh, the streaming numbers of GNX, they keep getting higher and higher and higher. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's me and Jordan. Like, I'm pretty sure we are a full percent of the GNX streams.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, I think that's it. But either way, he's gonna kill it. It's gonna be great, and
I'm so excited
for that. But as always, thank you for listening. Enjoy. Well, this is past that, but we hope you enjoyed your Super Bowl weekend. And You did all of the good things that came with that. The last piece of thing that I will leave you with is eventually the Super Bowl, the NFL is going to go to an 18-game season.
Oh,
and
yeah.
when that happens, the Super Bowl will be President's Day weekend, which means we're going to get Monday off. Bless.
Period.
Hope you had a good Super Bowl, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.